Warning, this podcast contains heavy spoilers for not just one movie, but entire franchises. We highly recommend going and watching these movies before listening to us as a companion piece that stitches all the timelines into one creepy, crime-ridden story. There will be no more spoiler warnings. We do not break character. After this, there is no turning back. You've been warned. Hit the music.
You are talking about the nonsensical ravings of a lunatic mind.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's
alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Hello and welcome to It's Alive Alive Podcast. This is a true crime, paranormal, interstellar podcast covering unbelievable stories that sound like they're ripped straight from the pages of a Hollywood script. I'm your host, the outlaw Doctor H.R. Smoking Steam THC, and with me as always, my very own scream queen, the perfect combination of beauty and brains, the pride of smoking steam, the hard expert, the guts and gore, the gorgeous, sexy Aimee Rose.
Hi.
Hey. So the kids are back to school, and we decided, fuck it, why not scare everybody with a bit of a good old-fashioned American gun violence? Because that's not topical
happened
at
the last
moment.
few weeks.
Before we get to that, you were telling me about the trailer for The Bride.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
I did.
You watched it without me.
I did. It looks
You
like
fucker.
it is Bonnie and Clyde, except with Frankenstein and the Bride.
Okay. That's one Christian Bale, isn't it?
Yeah. It looks like they're on the run. It looks like they're doing a lot of dancing, drinking, shooting, and stuff like that, and people are chasing them. But it is very much Bonnie and Clyde meets.
And what's all the black stuff on the bride's face? The stuff that looks like ink.
They didn't specify. She just has that on her face the whole way through.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Might
Fair
be a
enough.
scar. So, I mean, it's only a teaser trailer.
Oh, is that all?
Well, it's 2 minutes long. It's a good bit of a trailer, but it's down as teaser trailer.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks like Bonnie and Clyde meets Frankenstein and the Bride.
Cool.
So yeah. Speaking of which, we're kind of talking about a bit of a Bonnie and Clyde situation today, aren't we? With a reluctant Bonnie.
What's that with? Oh, with this.
With JD.
I thought you had more
Veronica.
news. I was like, this is my first time hearing of it. Yeah.
So again, I know this is kind of a scary topic to get into. But you know, fuck it, you gotta know. I mean, if you don't learn from the past, you're doomed to repeat it.
Exactly.
And if America ain't gonna listen, we're gonna keep saying it until they get it through their fucking heads and learn from their mistakes.
Yep.
Maybe they'll learn now that one of their own has been killed.
Good one.
Right, do you want to kick this off?
Hey.
Let's get into the story of Jason Dean, also known as JD.
Okay, so before October 1988, Sherwood, Ohio was the kind of town you drove through without noticing. Blink and you'd miss it. One high school, one Dairy Queen, a half-dead mall clinging to life like a rusted lung. The Sherwood Gazette's front page usually carried hard-hitting news like City Council approves new stop sign or local teen wins third place at County Spelling Bee. Then, Jason J.D. Dean walked into Westerburg High and turned the place into a demolition zone, socially, emotionally, and literally. By the time the smoke cleared, 3 students were dead, the entire senior class had nearly been vaporized, and Sherwood's sense of itself as a safe little community went up in the same kind of dust clouds J.D.'s father used to make when dropping office towers for a living. Sherwood had entered the true crime annals, whether it wanted to or not. To this day, old-timers in diners still lean across plastic booths and whisper, "Remember the boy in the trench coat, the one with the bombs."
You talk about his dad there. James Dean. I'm going to do that a bunch.
You are.
during this.
I
I know
see
I'm
that
going to do
coming.
a little bit. Jason Dean didn't just grow up around explosions. He was practically raised by them. His father, Big Bud Dean, owned Dean Construction, and they specialized in demolition. So imploding buildings in spectacular fashion. Like, have you ever seen on TV, like, the skyscrapers fall perfectly into its own footprint, you know, while TV crews cheer and go, "Hey!" You've seen the Family Legacy if you have.
Yeah.
They do look cool, to be fair.
His mother, however, didn't survive the family business. One spring morning in 1979, she calmly strolled into one of Bud's condemned buildings just before the charges went off. Witnesses swore she smiled at Jason, age 7, standing outside with a juice box in hand before the whole structure folded like a house of cards.
I got an excerpt from. See, we've never done newspapers before, so these words I'm gonna have to
What, excerpt?
I would have always said excerpt. I wouldn't have pronounced the P.
Excerpt is a different word.
What? No, I know. This is from the Sherwood Gazette, March 5th, 1979. Tragedy at the Dean construction site. Martha Dean, wife of local contractor Bud Dean, perished yesterday when she entered a condemned structure seconds before a scheduled demolition. Officials are investigating whether safety protocols were breached. Eyewitnesses reported her young son was present.
And the story never made national news. It was just another tragic accident in a small town. But for Jason, that moment was formative. Most kids' first trauma is a dead goldfish. His was watching his mother choose dynamite over domestic life. From then on, home life was a stalemate. Bud threw himself into work, barking demolition orders like a general. Jason, meanwhile, simmered in resentment. Sarcasm was his main weapon.
Yeah, he once told a classmate his father loves explosions more than he loved the people. Nobody laughed except Jason. I actually have an interview as well from a neighbour, a statement made to the Sherwood PD in 1988. The Deans weren't normal. Bud yelled at everything, and the boy, Jason, he was polite enough, but off. Always in black, always watching. Like he was already rehearsing a eulogy for the whole neighbourhood.
Psychologists later labelled the Dean household a toxic crucible of nihilism.
In simpler terms, JD was raised on dust clouds and abandonment. It's not a great recipe for a stable adult. I do love how this neighbor, though, was like, do you notice that, like, as soon as something tragic happened, they're coming in with all the fucking descriptions. They're like, he wore black. He was already rehearsing the eulogy of our neighborhood. Like, fuck you. You didn't notice him once until he did this.
Exactly. And if home was toxic, school was no antidote. Westerburg High in 1988 was a neon jungle where survival depended on what you wore, who you sat with at lunch, and how many people feared your hair. At the top of the food chain sat the Heathers.
I am delighted we didn't have to really go through this in Irish secondary school.
No.
Kind of, a little
Kind
bit,
of a
but
tiny bit.
not hardcore.
Not
No one
mean
was
girls,
really that
like,
much of a
yeah.
dick. You really just stayed away from the rough bullies and you were kind of safe. And
Yeah.
there was only like one of them per class, maybe two.
There was one of them, yeah, but then she got kicked out fairly fast for selling fags in school. So,
Oh, my two just dropped out of school because they were bums. Both in jail now.
well, there you go.
All right, I'm going to go through these headers first, all right?
Yeah.
Because I got little descriptions of all of them. So there was Heather Chandler. This is fucked up. All three of them were Heathers. That's why they were the Heathers, like, you know? Heather Chandler was the undisputed queen. Her weapon of choice was humiliation, delivered with a smile sharp enough to cut glass. Students didn't follow her out of loyalty, but because rebellion was social suicide. Then there was Heather Duke, the sycophant, always one step behind Chandler. She absorbed cruelty like sunlight, hoping one day she'd photosynthesize into power. Then there was Heather McNamara, the cheerleader. Sweet enough in fleeting moments, but shallow as a puddle in July. Easily led, easily broken.
And together, they turned Westerburg into their private fiefdom. Teachers looked the other way, partly out of fear and partly out of exhaustion. I can understand that. Just not dealing with it. Just go.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, I have another excerpt from
Okay.
Westerburg High teacher survey. It was unofficially done in 1988. The question was, who runs this school? The answer was Heather Chandler, and we're just staff in her kingdom.
Nice.
Imagine holding that much power as a teenager.
Imagine being a teacher and letting a teenager hold that much power in the school.
See, that's what money gets you. That's the thing about the states with the state. They claim that they're
Good
kind of all equal,
not.
but all men is created equal, but really the social fucking status and positioning over there is
Like, make way for money in the halls kind of shit.
oh yeah.
Yeah. And into this mess walked JD, trench coat swaying like Darth Vader in the cafeteria. He wasn't just new, he was different. He quoted philosophy instead of gossip, ordered cherry slushies like he was in a noir film, and treated Westerburg's hierarchy with the kind of contempt most kids saved for cafeteria meatloaf. And that contempt caught the eye of Veronica Sawyer.
Right. So, Veronica wasn't a Heather by birthright. In other words, she wasn't named them. But she'd been absorbed into the clique like a promising recruit.
Mm-hmm.
Sharp, observant, with a conscience that occasionally squeaked through. She played the double game, writing cruel notes one moment, feeling guilty about it the next. She was a Heather with doubts, which made her both dangerous and vulnerable. Reminds me of you, because anytime you think you've done something, you could be pissed off and angry and snap at someone, and within 30 seconds, it's like, I'm sorry.
I don't say it like that. Not groveling.
Tears just
Oh,
bulging.
fuck off with it. Sorry.
Big panda eyes. I didn't mean it.
Oh my God. It's only if I say something particularly mean in the heat of the moment, really. And to be honest, I don't do that to anybody else except you. I mean, not the mean things, but apologize. So when Veronica met JD, she saw him as an antidote. Here was a boy who hated the Heathers as much as she secretly did. Here was someone who understood that high school was just a training ground for adult cruelty. Here was her way out, or so she thought.
So I got a quick little clip of an interview here from, not a clip, I'm actually going to have to say it, not play it. Veronica Sawyer. It was with the Sherwood PD, a statement in 1988.
Okay.
So she said he had this clarity, like he could see straight through the phoniness. First, I thought he was saving me. Then I realized he just wanted to drag me into the fire with him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we all know people like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. And their romance was an instant combustion. Diary entries filled with longing, late night phone calls, a kiss in a 7-Eleven parking lot that felt like rebellion. What Veronica didn't realize was that JD didn't just want rebellion, he wanted annihilation. Yeah.
Annihilate.
And to understand why JD thought Westerburg was worth blowing up, you have to understand its power structure beyond the Heathers. The social order was upheld not just by the girls with the scrunchies, but by the boys with the shoulder pads. Obviously, again, for America.
Oh, yeah, they were big in the 80s.
Yeah, weren't they? Especially on men. Kurt Kelly and Ram Sweeney, the dynamic duo of jockdom. Their idea of fun was cow tipping, beer chugging, and terrorizing anyone lower on the food chain, which was mathematically almost everyone.
Cow tipping seems like fun, but I heard it was actually impossible. Beer
Cow's
chugging.
fucking heavy, like.
Beer chugging, I never got because it just made me sick. And terrorizing anyone lower on the food chain, that's just me.
Oh yeah, if they're smaller than you,
I'll go cow tipping with them, but that's about it.
I find that mean for the cows.
I'll help them up afterwards.
I can imagine you helping a calf up afterwards, not a cow. They were handsome in the way corn-fed linebackers are and cruel in the way unchecked teenagers can be. The silent majority, nerds, band kids, theatre kids, students who kept their heads down and prayed for graduation. They were collateral damage in the Westerburg's daily wars, ignored until tragedy forced them into the spotlight.
Which one do you fall into? I think
Probably the silent majority.
Yep.
I don't know anymore, but I was, I think. Maybe. Yeah. In short, Westerburg wasn't unique. It was every high school, USA, distilled into a pressure cooker. And JD, with his trench coat and trauma, was the spark waiting to hit the gas.
In retrospect, the warning signs were practically screaming in neon. I'm going to say particularly.
Particularly screaming.
Yeah, eat right away. He carried a revolver to school and fired blanks at Kurt and Ram during a cafeteria confrontation. The principal called it a prank. These days, it would be called time.
Yep.
Prison time. He made casual remarks about society deserving to collapse. Teachers chalked it up to just teenage angst, which I would, because I used to say very similar shit back in the days, like fuck everybody, you know. Yeah, and I used to sing along to that Slipknot song. Fuck it all, fuck this world, fuck everything you stand for, don't belong, don't exist.
Seems
Don't
like a
give
bit of a
shit,
threat.
don't ever judge me. He was frequently seen sketching explosives in the margins of his notebooks. Counselors assumed it was creative expression. But again, I used to put a lot of pentagrams and upside down crosses in my margins.
Used to do pentagrams, not upside down crosses. I wasn't a devil worshiper.
Crosses everywhere because we knew it would wind people up.
Yeah. I used to put lots of hearts on my copybook. So my French teacher started laughing at me. He was like, handing out all the copybooks. He was like, "Oh, Amy Fogarty's full of hearts," and then everybody started laughing. So I was like,
But that was a really common thing for girls to do.
yeah,
I
but the way
see-
he was getting at it was like, does she have a bit of a crush? The way he said it, you could tell the tone behind it. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
now you've
Your
just turned me
French
full
teacher.
goth. Yeah.
We had a substitute French teacher and I flirted with her constantly.
Oh, I've heard about this French teacher a lot, so she must have been.
Well, she was only a student teacher and I'm pretty sure she was flirting back.
Well, that's still against the law.
We didn't do that.
Student teacher, no student teacher.
Anyway, here is an excerpt from the Westerburg High Incident Report, September 1988. Jason Dean discharged a firearm containing blanks in the cafeteria. Targeted students Kurt Kelly and Ram Sweeney were unharmed. Dean received 2 days suspension. No psychological evaluation requested.
Christ.
And they wonder.
Well, yeah,
And
exactly.
they wonder.
Ash, it's only a little gunfire.
And it wasn't even a real gun, so fuck it.
Exactly.
What harm? Just put it out there, though. Brandon Lee, blanks. If you're wondering why no one intervened, welcome to the 1980s suburbia, where boys will be boys, even if they're boys with semi-automatic fantasies.
Mm-hmm. Heather Chandler's reign ended not with a bang, but with a mug. On the morning of October 12th, 1988, Veronica Sawyer was summoned to the Heather's house, just one Heather's house, for what appeared to be a standard ritual of subservience. Croquet in the backyard, cruel gossip over mineral water, a reminder that Veronica's place in the hierarchy was conditional. Heather, as always, held court in red scrunchie and sharper than thou smirk.
You know, there is a little bit to put in here that I actually forgot to write in. That was the usual everyday kind of shit that she liked to do. But in this particular instance, she had went out on a limb for Veronica and invited her along to, I believe it was a college party with her.
Okay.
And when Veronica wasn't willing to put out, she was put out of the party, and Heather kind of took it to heart a bit. It was like, I brought you all the way here and you won't fuck?
What a shit.
Seriously?
friend.
Do you know? How are you going to get by? You got to spread those legs, get in your back to make your way up the ladder here. Do you know, the social ladder here? If the boys can't get some, you ain't hanging out no more. So Veronica obviously pissed off, angry at that stage and left, you know. But the next morning, she was to go to Heather's house to get a bit of a dressing down for this faux pas the night before.
I wouldn't my arse be going down to get a dressing down. Fuck off. JD, tagging along like some trench coat Mephistopheles, suggested they play a little prank. He whipped up a cup of drain cleaner, called it a hangover cure, and convinced Veronica to bring it to Heather.
Now, we have a lot of diary entries from Veronica Sawyer throughout this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read another one now. This is from October 12th, 1988.
Okay.
I thought we were just messing with her. I thought she'd gag and spit it out, which a regular person probably would do.
Yeah, actually.
But he handed me that mug like it was communion wine, and suddenly I was the one holding the chalice. Heather Chandler, never one to admit weakness, downed the concoction in a single gulp. Seconds later, she collapsed, gagged, and went stiff. Autopsy report says cause of death, acute caustic ingestion, sodium hydroxide solution, esophagus severely corroded, stomach lining compromised, time from ingestion to collapse less than 1 minute.
Christ.
Quick
So-
way to go if you need to go quick.
Well, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. That's acid, like. Sodium hydroxide, isn't it? Acid. Jeez. So most teenagers, when they're confronted with a corpse, they would panic. And JD and Veronica grabbed stationery. They staged the scene as a suicide, forging a note that transformed Heather Chandler from tyrant to tragic. Yep. The letter even dripped with artificial self-loathing, the kind only a cynical teenager could write.
I got the suicide note. Well, I got an excerpt from the suicide.
Another
There's not
excerpt.
Excerpts all over this. Experts for
You
everyone.
get an excerpt.
One for
You get an
one for
excerpt.
me.
I guess
Check under your chair. There's an expert.
Excerpt.
An expert on excerpts right under your chair. Go check it out. So it read, you make my life a hell. Just know that the only place Heather Chandler went wrong was in not being strong enough.
Yikes. It worked though, and the teachers cried in the hallways. The principal announced an assembly. Heather Chandler's reputation, once toxic, was sanitized overnight. She was no longer a bully. She was a martyr.
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Guess what I got?
An excerpt.
From the Sherwood Gazette, October 13th, 1988.
Go for it.
Local seniors' death stuns community. Westerburg High mourns Heather Chandler, beloved student taken too soon. Friends recall her as bright, popular, and always there for people. Memorial service planned. Apparently, tormenting half of the student body didn't make it into the obituaries. Death, it seemed, was the best PR move Chandler ever made.
That annoys me big time. At the end of the day, a spade is a spade.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, no matter if you died last night or if you were a bitch in life, death doesn't make you a nice person afterwards.
You can talk all the shit you want in the world, but once you get shot in the neck in public, suddenly you're a saint. What can you do? Move on.
In the days following her death, Westerburg transformed into a cult of Heather. Her locker became a shrine. Flowers, notes, and even Twinkies stacked like offerings. Sounds like Princess Diana. On
Like
a smaller scale. Oh no, I meant the flowers. I don't know if Princess Diana liked Twinkies.
My stoner ass would be stealing from that locker every fucking 10 minutes.
Twinkies. Teachers, desperate to appear empathetic, held classroom discussions about suicide and the pressures of popularity. Students who'd hated Heather suddenly claimed to have been her best friend. Even Heather Duke, her long-time punching bag, slipped into the power vacuum like a snake shedding skin.
Here is an interview with the local news.
Not an excerpt. Or is it an excerpt of an interview?
I suppose it is. It comes from the local news anyway. It's from 1988 as well. Heather was everything to us. I just hope to carry on her legacy of leadership. Translation: the crown is mine now.
Absolutely. JD watched...
There can be only one!
So JD watched all this with amusement. And for him, Heather's death wasn't a tragedy itself. It was proof. Proof that society would swallow any narrative if packaged right. Proof that one well-placed corpse could rewire a whole community. Proof that murder in the right hands was art. From a criminological standpoint, the Chandler murder demonstrated JD's early operating pattern. 1. Weaponization of Veronica.
JD rarely acted alone in the beginning. He used Veronica's conscience as camouflage. If she delivered the poison, then she was complicit.
Exactly. Number 2, narrative control.
The suicide note wasn't just a cover-up. It was manipulation of the town's grief.
And number 3, test run.
Chandler's death was a trial balloon. Could he get away with murder? The answer disturbingly was... Yes.
Law enforcement treated the case as open and shut suicide. No toxicology beyond confirming caustic ingestion. No handwriting analysis on the note, which is ridiculous.
Well, I mean, who wants to dig deeper when digging deeper means questioning your whole community's catharsis?
Yeah.
At the same time, it just teaches me how easy it is to get away with murder.
As long as you write a note.
Oh, I got a list. Not
Dear
a note.
teacher.
People who I want to ingest drain cleaner.
Nicer
Donald
ways.
J. Trump.
Oh.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Vance. Musk, I suppose. There's a few more. I'll work it out.
Cool. You can let me know. If Chandler's death was a test, Kurt Kelly and Ram Sweeney's was the encore.
Conor McGregor. He can fucking drink drain cleaner too. Anyway, sorry.
The setup was pure farce. Veronica, worn down by Heather Duke's rising tyranny and JD's persuasive whispers, agreed to scare the jocks who'd been harassing her. JD sold her on the idea of tranquilizer bullets. In reality, though, he packed live rounds.
Okay, before you go any further again, I found out what the bullying was in this situation.
Well.
What the two jocks were doing to poor old Veronica. So apparently, Heather Duke, that's the one that's still alive now, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Heather
Duke kind of, one of the Heathers convinced her to go on a date with these two fucking idiots. She ends up, this is where the cow tipping came
Veronica
out of.
goes on it. Okay.
It's where the cow tipping thing came from. They bought him cow tipping. JD shows up and kind of wishes Veronica away from the situation. The next day she gets to school only to be told that, what are their names again? These fucking two idiots. Kurt and Ram have been going around telling everybody that that Veronica had a double sausage in her mouth the night before.
Double sausage.
That she took both at the same time. Right next to the cows. Filthy.
Oh, God. Okay. So on the morning of October 20th, 1988, Kurt and Ram were lured into the woods with promises of sex. Veronica hid in the shadows, nervous, while JD handed her a gun.
Time for an excerpt. Veronica Sawyer's statement to Sherwood PD 1988. He swore they were tranquilizers. He laughed when I missed. Then he pulled the trigger himself. Sound. God. The sound.
2 gunshots echoed across Sherwood's fields. Kurt Kelly dropped instantly. Ram tried to run, but JD caught him. 2 football heroes felled not by rivals, but by a boy in black with a grudge.
I hate the fact that the heroes straight away. 2 football heroes.
2 football heroes.
You're not a hero for kicking a ball, you fucking knobhead. Anyway, Sherwood PD crime scene report case hashtag 88-155. Victims Kirk Kelly 17 gunshot wound to the chest. Ram Sweeney 17 gunshot wound to the back. Time of death approximately 6:30 a.m. Location wooded area near Westerburg High football field. I am all for kinky sex. It all sounds great to me, right? And I would probably go out of my way in a situation of girls like, let's go have some fun, whatever. But I'm not getting up to 6:30 in the morning and going into the woods to get
hang
the
on now
ride.
2 seconds. If you were 17, is it any different? Think of the hormones at 17 though.
I would have woken up disappointed with myself sometime around lunchtime. But I mean, probably not at 6:30 unless I was on my way home from someplace.
Early. What are you doing? Getting up at 4 o'clock to get ready for school so you can go in and get the ride? Like, I don't know.
Balls to that.
The cover up this time was even more audacious. JD and Veronica staged the scene as a double suicide pact. They planted a forged note filled with homoerotic undertones, suggesting that Kurt and Ram had been secret lovers who couldn't face societal rejection.
So here's a bit from the forged suicide note recovered in 1988. Our love is forbidden, but it is real. If we can't be accepted by this world, we will make our own in the next. Don't they know God hates gays?
Nobody told them. The irony was cruel. The very jocks who weaponized homophobia daily were posthumously recast as tragic gay lovers.
Isn't the irony beautiful? I mean, like, I don't want to like what JD did, but I sort of like what JD did.
But you can't really like what JD did.
But
then they were arseholes. But that doesn't warrant a bullet.
No, but a good swift kick in the fucking...
All right, well, that I can agree with. Television crews swarmed Sherwood. Talk shows debated whether Kurt and Ram's death would raise awareness. Candlelight vigils were held on the football field, and their jerseys were retired. They were canonized as sensitive souls, misunderstood by their peers.
Never mind that, 3 weeks earlier, they spent Friday night pushing freshmen into lockers. Death had baptized them again. So again, excerpt from Sherwood Gazette, October 21st, 1988. Star athletes lost. Kurt Kelly and Ram Sweeney remembered as kind, spirited, and full of life. Friends described them as always supportive and fun-loving. Entire town mourns.
The hypocrisy was thick enough to choke on, but JD thrived on it. The bigger the lie, the bigger the proof that people would eat it whole. By now, Veronica was cracking. Chandler had been one thing, but Kurt and Ram another. JD wasn't just a rebel without a cause, he was a serial killer with a philosophy. She confronted him, diary pages filling with dread.
From her diary, October 21st, 1988. He talks like he's Socrates with a switchblade. Like killing is just pruning a diseased garden. I thought we were tearing down a system. Now I see we're just building a pyre. That sounds like lyrics.
It does. You
Doesn't
should put
it?
it to music, see how it comes out.
Oh, man, yeah. He talks like he's Socrates. Yeah, we could do this.
But JD wasn't slowing down. If anything, he was just warming up.
Right. So what are we looking at now? We're looking at a breakdown here of the Kelly and Sweeney case files. This could be
Exactly.
interesting.
So patterns were now solidifying. Escalation. From poisoning to firearms, more direct, more brutal. Theatrical cover-ups.
Suicide notes as performance art. Each forgery reframed the victim as sympathetic.
Yes. manipulation of social issues.
Chandler's suicide spotlighted teen pressure. Curtin Ram's suicide pact spotlighted closeted homosexuality. Both narratives distracted from the truth. Jason Dean was eliminating people he didn't like, people he disliked. But I got a problem with Curtin Ram's suicide pact. If you're to go off of the police report, one of them shot in the back, the other one shot in the front. So
maybe he went bang.
It's here. He was shot like here.
All right, bang. Maybe one of them did it.
But they'd be able to tell that it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The distance, the whole fucking...
They would be, but they didn't even analyse the handwriting on Heather Chandler's note. So, I mean, are they really good?
Shot himself in the back. Do you know what?
Yeah, I suppose. Fell on his gun.
These Sherwood boys ain't fucking very good at their fucking investigating, are they?
No, and once again, they accepted the suicide explanation with stunning gullibility. They never tested the handwriting, like I just said. They never analysed bullet trajectories, like you just said. The woods were taped off, but only briefly. And by Monday, gym class was running laps past the crime scene, contaminating everything.
That crime scene, when I was a kid, if that crime scene existed, that would have became the new goth hangout.
Oh, yeah.
That's where all the metalheads would have partied. That's where we would have shown up. Every weekend, that's where all the drinking would be.
There'd been a few ghosties in the middle of the night.
A couple of rituals. Bring the old Ouija board here with me.
Yep. By late October, Sherwood was drowning in funerals. 3 students in 10 days. PTA meetings devolved into shouting matches. The school counsellor, Miss Fleming, threw herself into leading assemblies that looked more like revival meetings than therapy.
Before we move on, actually, right? Talking about these 2 guys' suicide. And it's one nice note that I saw. I saw a little video clip from their actual funeral. Okay? And they had a joint funeral together. And I can't remember which one of their dads it was. But obviously this is a very kind of, again, it's the 80s. Homosexuality, still kind of taboo. Especially with conservative Christian parents and all that. But the father stands up there by the coffin and basically and says in front of the whole audience, is like, he didn't say it well, but he basically said, I can't really say I didn't care if you were a sissy or that you liked other guys, but I loved you either way. I love my gay dead son. That last bit's a different quote. The other was paraphrasing a little bit, but I love my dead gay son was the last thing he said.
Getting that off his chest as well to everybody that he was proud of his son at the same time. Like, I mean, I
was just about to say it, and it's sad then that his son couldn't come to him and tell him, I'm getting fooled by this fool's fucking propaganda.
Yeah, you are.
God damn. Okay. So where are we? Sorry.
You have another excerpt.
Oh, yes. Excerpt from the Assembly transcript. Westerburg High, October 22nd, 1988. Miss Fleming, we are all hurting. Let's make Heather, Kurt, and Ram's death mean something. Who wants to share their pain? Student number 4. Sometimes I feel lonely. Applause. So you get that though, that those assemblies, it is bullshit.
Oh, it is.
You know what I mean? Most of the people who are feeling something probably don't want to say shit in front of the whole school.
No.
Other people just want to say stuff to try and keep the assembly there as long as possible
so we
and avoid going back
class.
to school. And then you got the odd people like this dude who probably feels bad about something completely different, like feeling lonely and all that stuff. And he's going to voice it here in front of everybody. And it's...
Because he probably hasn't been given an opportunity to until now,
But the problem with that is, you know as well as I know, the problem with that is he just basically fed fuel to the bullies that were there that are now going to use that against them as soon as they leave the assembly.
Yeah.
Making him feel depressed and lonely.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, it's a shit position. Those are positions where you stick a grief counselor in place and you get the people in and let them talk, whatever, say whatever they need to say.
Yeah.
But again, the 80s, they probably weren't as used to all this kind of stuff as people are today.
No, probably not. Grief had become a performance. Students cried not for the dead, but for attention. JD couldn't have asked for better validation of his worldview that society was shallow, hypocritical, and ready to swallow any narrative if it came with candles and a catchy slogan. When Heather Chandler died, Heather Duke didn't just step into a new role, she sprinted into it wearing Chandler's old scrunchie like it was the crown jewels. The red elastic became her scepter, and suddenly the sycophant was issuing decrees. Under Duke, Westerburg didn't heal, it metastasized. Where Chandler was cutting and clever, Duke was blunt and desperate. She wielded power like a kid who just found their dad's gun, clumsy, loud, and dangerous.
Who does that remind
Who does it remind you of?
you of? Huh?
Who does it remind you of?
I feel like it's almost like a fucking metaphor for fucking the power exchange over in America, isn't it?
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah.
So an excerpt again from the student interview, Westerburg Yearbook Committee in 1988. Heather Duke started telling people who they could eat lunch with, like officially. She even made up a chart. It was like North Korea, but with perms. See, Trump had a chart too.
He
He
did.
said how much everybody owed him. Tariff here, tariff
And where
there,
they were allowed to live
there. Now
officially.
your Labubu's cost a fortune.
Mine cost like
Paris.
12 quid. For Veronica, this was a moment of clarity. The Heathers weren't just individuals, they were a system. Kill one and another slid into place. Westerburg was less a school and more a hydra. If you chop off one head, two more show up, both wearing pastel blazers.
It's like gangsters.
Hmm?
Kill a gangster, someone takes his place.
Exactly.
Police disband an entire gang, another one slips right in and takes
The world
over.
still fucking goes on.
Business is business.
Yep.
JD, however, wasn't discouraged. He was invigorated. To him, Duke's reign only underscored the point society was irredeemable.
Mm-hmm.
So why stop at individual murders when he could cleanse the whole herd?
Yeah.
And you know when somebody says they're going to cleanse something, it's going to be bad.
Getting scrubbed. By now, Veronica had realised JD wasn't Robin Hood. He was Ted Bundy, but with better hair.
Bundy had good hair.
Bundy had good hair.
He
I
had
would
one
agree
good
with
quality. Bundy had good hair.
that. I don't agree with the handsome thing, but the man had good hair. He had healthy looking hair.
He took care of his hair.
Yeah, yeah.
Many different styles as well. That's why they call him the chameleon.
Comedian.
If he was a Batman villain, he was the comedian.
Karma. She began pulling back, avoiding his calls, filling her diary with panic.
So her diary read, October 24th, 1988. I can't breathe around him anymore. He looks at me like I'm a weapon he owns. I thought we were partners. Now I see I'm just his camouflage.
She's really good with words.
She is, isn't she?
Fantastic with words. Yeah. When JD pressed her into continuing their killing spree, Veronica balked. He responded with gaslighting and threats, a mix of "you're just like me" and "you're nothing without me." Classic manipulator playbook, right down to the romantic flourishes.
Yeah, he's going to make some girl very unhappy.
Very unhappy. Oh, yeah. Probably like his dad made his mom.
Yeah.
Just saying. Eventually, Veronica staged her own death, stringing herself up in her bedroom with some very clever trickery. But when JD burst in, he saw her hanging and he believed she'd chosen oblivion over him. For once, the manipulator was manipulated.
So let's put some context in that, because that's a very kind of woof.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she faked her own death. So what happened was she kind of could see where his plan was going, where it was leading.
Mm-hmm.
And she clicked at some point that if she wasn't with him, she was against him.
Mm-hmm.
And she knew he'd feel the same way. And she says he admitted this himself later to her.
Okay.
He had come to that house that night with the intentions of winning her back over or killing her.
Yeah.
One of the two. Knowing this and knowing that he kind of thought that she might be on the downswing anyway, mood-wise, she rigged up some kind of wire from her ceiling
Okay.
and made it look like she hung herself.
Yeah.
So that way, when he came through the window to give her his life or death ultimatum,
Mm-hmm.
he found her hanging.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently was a little upset about it, but not exactly fucking broke up.
Heartbroken.
Just have to get on with it myself.
He could have
you
lived
know.
without her.
Life is that's business. I just got to go do it myself. I'm going to be with her soon anyway. Who gives a shit, you know?
Complete nihilism, like.
Oh, yeah. In terms of our good friends, the incels, JD was black-pilled.
What one is that again? You're gonna
Black pill is everything sucks. Everything's there's no coming back. This is just the way the world is. Fuck it. I'm going to be down at this level for the rest of my life. I can't do anything to work my way up. Fuck it all. But in his case, he was more like the world is fucked. Everybody's fucked. Everyone is down at the bottom level. We're never going to get back up. I just need to kill everybody.
Yikes.
Which I
Okay.
suppose leads more to terrorism than anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
So up next is he thinks she's dead. He's going off with a bigger plan in mind, and that is his big finale bomb plot. So let's have a look at that. With Veronica dead in his mind, JD went all in on his end game, and that is once again annihilation.
He smuggled explosives into Westerburg High and planted them in the boiler room. His plan? Blow the entire senior class sky high during a pep rally, framing it as a collective suicide pact, a mass martyrdom. Was he going to write many different suicide notes or just one on behalf of the class? We the people.
Suicide notes.
Yeah.
The thing about it, do you know what I wonder here is how easy is it to smuggle bombs into American schools?
Not anymore. In the 80s, probably.
In the fucking 90s too. Late 90s, 1999.
Oh, well.
Tomorrow we have It's Live Action dropping, where we go a bit deeper. It's on Patreon, $5 a month, the Horrorverse Network. Go check it out. But we're going to be talking a lot more about America and their relationship with guns, specifically school gun shootings and stuff like that. And we kind of really focus in on Columbine at the start because for us it was that kind of, I know this was before it, but that was our kind of, at our childhood,
Like, holy
it was
shit, this can
the
happen?
moment of, whoa.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. And the Americans made enough noise about it at the time. It seemed like it was the first time it happened. It seemed like it was a very rare occasional thing, but obviously not. But they fucking had propane bombs that they fucking snuck into the cafeteria.
I wonder, is it easier if it's homemade? Is it easier to bring them in if they're easy assemble? Is it easier to bring them in disassembled and then assemble them on the school grounds?
But a propane bomb. You see that big can of fucking shit out the side of our house that powers our oven? That's a propane fucking can. I know you can get smaller ones for like gas lights and stuff like that, but I can't imagine it'd have the same explosion as one of those big ass.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
It often uses a propane tank as casing for the explosion and
because
shrapnel.
when it blows up, the shrapnel will go everywhere and fuck everybody else up as well. It's the point of a nail bomb. When a nail bomb goes off, it sends the nail shards everywhere, doing maximum damage to the people around it. So in this case, that tank blows up. You're not just getting the flame and the fire and the heat. Anyone who is outside of that range is probably going to get slashed up with big, huge chunks of metal and killed anyway.
So how the fuck did they get out of their parents' house dragging tanks with them?
Again, now that I say it, I would assume their propane bombs were probably like the small, small canisters you put in the lanterns, the gas lanterns for camping.
I forgot they came that small.
That would be my guess.
Would that have much of an explosion?
That's what I'd be thinking. Not really. I could see you blowing it and maybe hurting anyone sitting at that particular table.
Yeah.
But I don't think the blast range would go any further than 2 or 3 feet in diameter. But I don't know. Do you know what? Let's go get some and test it out. That's how we'll know.
Okay, we can get the Simbone, the synthetic stuff.
What's the synthetic?
It's what, say, crime scene investigators and osteoarchaeologists would use. So it's because you can't in Europe, you can't use Simbone, it's called. So you can't use cadavers in Europe for things like that. You can in America, but it's really it shatters like bone. Like
we could go all out, right? Because when I had the tattoo studio, we used to order in fake skin for the apprentice to practice on.
Instead of the pig
wrap
skin.
Your fake bones with my fake skin. And then we'll really see all the damage these tiny propane bombs will do.
Okay, there's a lot of calculations there.
Obviously, a lot easier for a guy whose dad runs a demolition service and you probably have a shed full of TNT.
Oh,
and shit.
well, yeah, there's that at the same
He probably
time.
didn't need to wheel in fucking barrels of fucking propane. He just had, bags full of dynamite.
And why in the boiler room? Does that make any difference?
Well, yeah. You blow up down there, all those pipes start blowing as well. I mean, you ever seen in TV and movies
Steam.
when they go into the boiler rooms there and the steam?
Like in the bone
pressure coming
collector
out?
where she's tied to the pipe.
They're all under extreme
Oy.
pressure. That's why you see, around the where they meet.
The valves.
They're fucking bolted into place,
Yeah.
sealed up and everything because the pressure on them, if there's a little leak on them, that pressure could cause it to go kaboom.
So
So
the
by-
explosion.
A couple of, as opposed to sticking dynamite all over the school, you could just dynamite the down in the boiler room and that explosion will come up. Actually, the exact same thing we discussed when we covered the Overlook Hotel and Jack Torrance, who went downstairs and blew up the Overlook in the exact same manner. The guy who said that it was all haunted. And
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
like
yeah. So would that draw the fire into the pipes? As in, could it go into the pipes and...
I would not know.
Okay.
I don't know. I honestly don't. I don't. Their system is very different from our system.
We should do
But,
an interview with a demolition man.
But I would assume that it would cause a great amount of damage. And again, then you have to remember as well, all that's blowing up at the foundation level.
Mm.
So whatever doesn't explode up, it's all crumbling down.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Oh, okay. Yes, yeah. And imploding into itself.
Exactly. Everyone inside is still fucked. Fire or
Regardless.
no fire.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Okay, so JD wasn't a killer anymore. He was an aspiring terrorist.
Yes, called it again.
You did. He envisioned news anchors weeping, candlelight visions spanning the counties. Sherwood immortalized as a town where teenagers collectively gave the finger to adulthood. Unfortunately for JD, Veronica was very much alive and furious. When she discovered his plans, she descended into the boiler room like a noir heroine with nothing left to lose. Accounts of the confrontation vary, but consistent threads emerge.
Before we get there, I did actually miss an excerpt. And that was from the recovered blueprint, which is in
course.
Sherwood PD evidence, #88-199. They had hand-drawn diagrams of Westerburg boiler room, notation C4 here, detonator under bleachers, margin doodles reading, the world loves a good martyr. So that
Okay.
was kind of in his mind. So it was C4 he was using to blow up all that shit.
Okay.
Anyway, where were we? We're down. You were saying
That
Veronica had busted in at the stage to try and stop him, is it?
Exactly. And there was consistent threads emerging from the accounts of the confrontation.
Oh.
So Veronica tore the wiring from the bomb, neutralizing it seconds before detonation.
Nice.
JD, enraged but oddly admiring, tried to persuade her to join him in a smaller, romantic explosion outside.
Very action movie, isn't it? 5, 4, 3. Do I cut the red one or the blue one? The red one or the blue one? 1. Beep.
Thank God. She declined, though, and in a timeless way of teenage girls rejecting toxic boyfriends everywhere, with a gun.
Ooh, she shoot him. Excerpt from Veronica Sawyer's statement, Sherwood PD 1988. He wanted me to die with him, like some kind of Bonnie and Clyde firework finale. I told him no. I told him the school gets to live. JD, wounded but grinning, stumbled outside. So he was shot. I do believe he was shot once or twice by her.
Okay.
It's hard to tell because of what comes next.
Yes. So on October 25th, 1988, Jason Dean strapped dynamite to his chest, lit the fuse, and stood in front of Westerburg High as though auditioning for a martyrdom cult.
He didn't run. He didn't hide. He stood tall, trench coat flapping, cigarette dangling as if he wanted the whole school to watch him burn.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Joker over here.
Yep.
Huh? Sherwood PD incident report, #88-200. Subject, Jason Dean, self-detonated. I love that. Self-detonated at approximately 8:35 a.m. outside the main entrance of Westerburg High School. Fatal injuries sustained. No other casualties reported. So it's hard to tell if a guy's been shot when there's a piece of him over there, and a piece of him over there, and a piece of him over there, and a piece of him over there.
Unless they can recover a bullet, but I mean, it's probably blown out of his body at that stage, in fairness. Witnesses recall the explosion as both terrifying and oddly anticlimactic, like a 4th of July gone wrong. The building was unharmed. The students, rattled but intact, spilled into the parking lot and stared at the smoking crater where JD had stood. Unlike Heather Chandler, Kurt and Ram, JD didn't get a say into it edit, The press labelled him a disturbed loner. The Gazette's front page screamed,
Teen bomber dead! I had to scream it.
"Thank you."
Jason Dean's fiery end. Sherwood shaken, but grateful. No lives lost. Except for poor Jason.
Except
That was
for poor
October 26,
Jason.
1988. Sherwood Gazette.
Parents scrambled to explain how a boy could reach such extremes under their noses. Talk shows debated the culture of violence and whether rock music was to blame.
Spoiler, it wasn't. It was Jason Dean that was to blame. Ozzy, Sabbath, Judas Priest, fucking Motley Crue, fucking Twisted Sister. None of them did it.
Nope. Looking back, JD's arc follows a classic escalation. Number 1, testing boundaries with Heather Chandler.
Murder disguised as suicide.
Ramping up, Kurt and Ram.
More violent methods, more elaborate cover-ups.
Finale planning? Yes, the bomb.
From individual killings to attempted mass murder.
And number 4, self-destruction.
When control slipped, he chose martyrdom over accountability.
Criminal profilers note how rare it is for teenage killers to maintain such theatricality. JD wasn't content to kill. He had to script each act like a play. Everybody was a message. Every note, a manifesto.
His crimes were less about the victims and more about proving his point that people are shallow, hypocritical, and easily manipulated. He really wouldn't like modern day. He was better off blowing himself up because he'd be really pissed off right now.
He'd be a big ball of depression right now. In the aftermath, Sherwood did what many traumatized towns do. It joked. Sounds very Irish. Like a very Irish thing.
Mm-hmm.
Gallows humour sprouted like weeds. Cafeteria chatter dubbed the boiler room Dean's Disco.
Wow. One of Dean's Disco this weekend. Oh, yeah.
Nice. Seniors voted most likely to explode as a yearbook gag. Local radio spun parody songs with lyrics about cherry slushies and dynamite.
The jokes weren't just tasteless, they were survival. Like we said,
Yeah.
Irish people do this all the time. We discussed this when we covered Abertalk a couple of months back, and the two boys that were stuck after that. And all they do is joke and make up stories and fucking bring people on tours about their actual horrific experience now. So I'll tell you. After all, how else do you cope when 3 classmates are dead and another nearly blew you up with enough C4 to level a strip mall?
Yeah, you'd need to have a sense of humour, really. In the closing moments of the saga, Veronica, soot-smudged and holding the still smoking cigarette JD had left behind, marched into the cafeteria. She plucked the red scrunchie from Heather Duke's head and declared herself the new queen, not a tyrant, but a reformer.
So Veronica saw a statement for Sherwood PD 1988. I'm not cleaning up his mess. I'm not finishing what he started. But I'll be damned if I let this place turn into another kingdom of cruelty. How she was not arrested as well is beyond me. Anyway.
Whether Veronica succeeded in reshaping Westerburg's culture is debatable. Teenagers are resilient, but they're also forgetful. By Christmas, much of the school had moved on, gossiping about prom themes instead of funerals.
One thing was clear. Veronica survived JD, and in Sherwood, that was no small feat.
Yep. Jason Dean's story isn't just a grim footnote in Sherwood's history. It's a cautionary tale in America's long, troubled relationship with youth violence. His case raised questions still echoing today. How many warning signs can a community ignore before a kid builds a bomb? Why do schools treat gunplay? Flags treat gunplay.
Fucking flags.
Fucking flags.
Everything we find if they weren't offer their gun rights.
Fun with flags. Why do schools treat gunplay with blanks as a prank instead of a red flag? And why does tragedy always seem to elevate bullies and abusers into saints the minute they're 6 feet under? Sherwood never fully answered those questions, and maybe no town can. Jason Dean wasn't a misunderstood romantic. He wasn't a rebel hero. He was a traumatized boy who mistook destruction for philosophy. He thought he was cleansing society, but in reality, he was just spreading the rot inside of himself.
And yet Sherwood will never forget him. Because for one brutal month in 1988, JD held a mirror up to a high school and showed it everything ugly about itself. Mm-hmm. And since I mentioned she didn't go to jail, what did become of Veronica?
Well, official records suggest she graduated in 1989, quietly, without speeches or crowns. She avoided interviews, rejecting offers to publish her diary or appear on daytime talk shows. And some locals say she went on to college out of state. Others whisper she stayed in town, living low-key, occasionally seen smoking behind the 7-Eleven. Either way, Veronica never again saw the spotlight. After all, when your ex-boyfriend tried to bomb a pet rally, you've had enough drama for one lifetime.
I suppose so.
If you drive through Sherwood now, there's no plaque, no statue, no Jason Dean Memorial Gym. The town shows erasure over remembrance. The only hints of its history are whispers at high school reunions and a suspiciously reinforced boiler room at Westerburg High.
Well, teenagers still gossip in the cafeteria, cliques still form, Heathers, metaphorical or otherwise, still rise and fall. Maybe that's the real tragedy. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Shoulder pads, optional.
And what do we learn from Jason Dean 3 decades on? That teenage pain ignored can metastasize. That communities prefer neat narratives over messy truths. That death has a way of airbrushing reputations, even for bullies in cheer skirts and jocks in Letterman jackets. And perhaps most unsettling, that a boy with access to his father's explosives never turned a pep rally into a crater.
Oh, he did. He nearly did.
Oh, nearly.
Didn't never. No.
Didn't never nearly turned a pep rally into a crater. And the adults never saw it coming. Jason Dean wanted to prove society was shallow, hypocritical, and blind. Sherwood, by its reaction, almost proved him right.
But here's the final irony. JD thought he was writing the last chapter of Westerburg High. Instead, he became just another cautionary tale in America's ongoing anthology of school violence. A story told in whispers, punchlines, and footnotes, but never quite forgotten. And that is JD, Jason Dean.
Jason Dean, not once. You only called him James once.
I did.
Good job.
I actually second guessed myself a few times during there. I was like, did I just say James or Jason? James or Jason? Doesn't matter. No one heard me.
Happened me once.
Well, it's bonkers, man. 1988, people are talking about this. It's now 2025, and it's a bigger issue now than it was then.
Yeah.
It's just something that seems to be escalating over and over and over. I'm just happy it doesn't happen here.
Touch wood.
Well, we looked it up the last day. I can't remember what we were talking. When we were recording, it's a live action that comes out tomorrow. We looked up how many massacres there were in Ireland. Shooting massacres.
But they're all IRA, all political.
So, yeah, it was all paramilitary fucking shootings. UVF, IRA, English Army, Irish Army. That's all it was. It was just shootings between them. It was the Troubles.
Exactly.
We don't really have these mass shootings of people just walking into public spaces or walking into schools. And you know why? Because we don't have that many guns on offer.
It's harder to get a gun here.
Hunting guns here and there. But I mean, it's more difficult to pull this shit off, and that's a good thing. No, I know people say we're tiny over here. I mean, we're the size of an American state, and I suppose that would make a difference too. Or would it? You got more space to move around and avoid each other. We're on top
But
of
I mean,
each other
I
here.
think the main difference is guns aren't readily accessible. Do you know? They're not. I mean, do you have to go into the cop shop over in America to get them to sign like your license?
No, I think they can do it all online. No, they'll just like run a background check on you on their computer, see if you've had what sort of criminal record you have, what sort of mental health record you have, and after that, then it's
you see, I mean, here,
and even then, that'll just decide on how powerful a gun you can own.
Yeah. And here, the Gardaí just sign a piece of paper. They come out to inspect your house, make sure you have everything.
Proper gun safe. Yeah,
it has to be on a load-bearing wall. Blah blah. I mean, the regulations.
You also have to have permission from a farmer to shoot in their land, so that you actually have somewhere to go shooting.
Can you not go into the woods and go shooting rabbits there?
It's a requirement. You have to have permission for someone to go on their land to shoot.
Okay.
If you don't have that, you're not getting the license.
Would a gun club suffice? Like, say you I like clay pigeon shooting, so I can go down there to Monagashel. Okay.
I would guess so. I wouldn't be certain.
I wouldn't be sure. I know you can go in and use the guns in the gun club.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like, I'm not interested enough in guns to really know the rules or anything. I don't see any reason to have one at home. Because I don't go hunting.
No. I don't think I could go hunting.
I mean, like, yeah, fine. If someone broke in, cool. Yeah, it would be handy to have one here to shoot them with. But I mean, that doesn't happen here that often, ever. I've never had my house broken into. Touch wood. Yeah, but if I have the urge, I went shooting once, and that was at the gun club, and that was fun.
Yeah.
And we shot at clay pigeons and paper targets.
Yeah.
And that was enough. I
Yeah.
didn't feel the urge to turn the gun on anyone while I was there. I did cross my mind that someone else could get an urge to turn the gun on. someone while we were here. That bothered me. But short of that, I mean, it was fun. Shooting guns is fun. There's no denying it. It's a laugh. But
I think I prefer paintballing. That would be fine
clay
enough for me.
and paper.
Yeah. Anything that you have to shout pull at.
Required.
If things squeaks or tweets, I don't want to shoot at.
Yeah, I have no reason to want to shoot live animals. This isn't like an age where I got to go for fun hunting for my food.
Exactly. I'm not going hungry. I've got plenty of clothes.
I don't see a reason for an animal or a person to die for my sport.
Exactly.
You know?
I don't think I could even go culling. Like, you know, like if I was working as one of the rangers in the park.
See, I get they have to do that.
I get
shit,
that,
right?
but I would feel bad. I understand, but I still would. It's still a living animal. Like,
Yep.
you know,
It just wouldn't be for me.
No.
Not for me. Don't like it. But
I know
what
plenty of
do?
people that do hunt, and I'm not
I'd
against
say, I
them.
mean,
like,
yeah,
it's-
you do what you gotta do. I mean, again, what's the point? I mean, outside, I mean, to me, it is the biggest kind of I got a tiny penis kind of syndrome.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I gotta go out and kill animals to show I'm a man.
Yeah. And if
You
it's
know?
an outdoor thing, just go hiking.
Yeah. Or my favorite, do what Dexter did in New Blood.
Go
He
kill
didn't
some
have to
serial
go
killers.
shoot the gear. He bought out the gun so that he could get him on the scope. Once he got him on the scope, he was running after him just to track him.
Exactly.
And that seems like fun too because then you get to look at it. And,
Yeah.
you know, see it. And
Take a few
I mean,
pictures.
when you come across an animal, they're like just doing their own fucking thing. It's amazing to watch them do their own thing. You know, it's
Oh, yeah.
majestic. It's nice. It's pretty. I don't want to be the one to fucking put an end to that for no reason.
I would rather be still long enough. As in, I know obviously hunters have to stay still, but I would rather be on the other side where the animal's like, oh, maybe she's okay, and comes up and, you know, inspects me, you know, kind of comes up and says hi, and then I can run off. I don't want to be the one
What?
taking that
So you can have a
curiosity.
big ass head in your wall.
I get an artificial deer head, but I wouldn't get a real
That's
deer head.
fine. Like, you know,
Like our jackalope, that took some doing. We were
Well, that
chasing him for
motherfucker has
years.
been fucking antagonizing me for fucking. And to be honest, he pulled the gun first. I was only defending myself.
Do they have
I got
opposable
body
thumbs
cam.
now?
I got body cam footage, right?
Sure.
Just got
Show the
corrupted.
kids they'd be
It got
delighted.
corrupted when we put it onto the computer and things went funny. So
Like the knocks that time.
shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what do we got this week?
Well, if you want more horror and crime fun, then head on over to patreon.com/the Horrorverse Network and check out our bonus shows. It's a live action because tomorrow we'll be dropping our bonus show episode where we talk about the school shooting problem that has gripped the States for decades and look at related media such as Stephen King's Rage.
While you're there, check out the rest of our Patreon exclusive shows like Amy's Horrific History Show, Playing with Bones, and my new celebrity rap sheet show where we look at the life and crimes of all your favorite celebs. We kicked off last week with Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle. He was once like the king of vaudeville and silent movies. Then we have yesterday, our episode on Mabel Normand came out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And next week we are doing William Taylor Desmond. Yes? William Desmond Taylor. William Desmond Taylor, which is a fucking fun little mystery to look into. So check that out. It is well worth $5 a month.
Yep.
And if you're not sure, 7-day free trial. Check it out.
Exactly. And all that. And mini monsters are available now at the Horrorverse Network on Patreon. Subscribe now for only $5 a month with a 7-day free trial for all new subscribers.
We'll be back next week with more tales from the Horrorverse. See you then. Same 11 lifetime, same Horrorverse channel. Okay, love you. Bye-bye.
I love you. Bye-bye.